Hello everyone, this is my attempt at making a Rory Williams handgun. Now, in the episode, the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang, Amy and the Doctor come across the Roman Legion, and in the Roman Legion is Rory Williams, Amy's boyfriend. Now, it's later found out that Rory is actually an Auton, a type of robot, and hidden in their hand is a gun. So what I wanted to do was see if I can get the mechanics of this done first. Now, this is my prototype, my proof and concept, and as you can see, the gun barrel pops right out and the piece in the front falls down. Now, we saw in the video clip at the beginning of this video and a couple of stills that the fingers are actually attached here and they drop down. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, what I wanted to do is try to keep it simple. So, first thing is to make the catch as simple as possible, and I ended up settling on magnets. Now, the first couple of magnets I used were smaller than this, and being basic fridge magnets, they weren't very strong, and the actual barrel would snap it right off. So I ended up having to go to bigger magnets, which ended up pushing the barrel down a little bit. Now, in my final version, I used something a little bit better than this, and you'll see it a little bit later. Now, what's going to happen is that after this is all completed, after I finish my final version of this, this will be encased in silicone rubber in the shape of the person who I'm making this for. And then we're going to cut it, the fingers will be attached to the front, then the rest of the palm will be back here, and it'll actually extend to hide their hand, and covered up, it should work out pretty good. Here's my finished product so far. When you look at the little video clip and the couple of stills, you see that Rory's handgun has actually two muzzles coming out. Now, here are my finished muzzles. I've already painted them, and I've added kind of a little bit of a detail to it, including drawing them out. Now, on my prototype I talked about the actual magnets. I ended up using fridge magnets that were way too big. I found a couple of rare earth magnets that I've already glued one to the shaft, and this is the piece that the person's going to be pulling back and forth. Now, here is the main body, not too much different than what my prototype was. Still got the little hinge here to let it drop off, and you can see the holes. Now, I've already inserted the springs into this, and this is where the catch goes. So, what ends up happening is this piece goes in here. Then I've got the big muzzle and the little muzzle. And as you can see, they pop out. Now, if I don't put the catch in there, these shoot out like a gun. So I have to assemble the catches on them, which will be next. Now, the actual magnets themselves are pretty strong. And I've been lucky so far that I've been able to keep them glued. And one of the things that I found is that I'm not going to be able to adjust it. In other words, put a stop here in the back to where the person's going to pull, because I don't know how much weight the silicone fingers are going to be. So I can't even adjust that until I'm actually got this inserted inside the silicone rubber. Okay, here we go. Here's the finished product. I've already sanded the outside of the body, rounded off the edges. I've added the temporary catch and a little grip for it. And here we go. And there she is. Now, I went ahead and I painted the front of this flesh color, and I will detail it a little bit more when I actually get the silicone rubber around it. So again, there we go. Close up, just push them in. Now, of course, because I don't have a stop on there, it does stick out a little bit. Well, that'll be fixed as soon as I get the permanent stop back here all set. But again, pull, and there she goes. So here's the latex cast for the Rory gun hand. As you can see, the fingers bend, so it definitely gives a nice lifelike appearance. As it kind of like clumped here at the end, and the person whose hand I was casting didn't notice it at the time. But it has lifelike ridges and all that, and in a little bit I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'm going to try to touch up as much as this as possible. I did start cutting it open, so you can kind of see. I started cutting the latex and then realized I did not make the camera part for this. Alright, here we are with both pieces put together. I went ahead and I sliced just behind the fingers and I put the mechanical piece off. One of the things that I found after I've assembled it is that stretching it over the piece, even though both pieces of the mechanical portion were the same size, it definitely left the gap. So I'm going to have to take some more of the silicone and fill that in, and I'll probably, after I fill it in, slice it. Now for the most part it does work. I got to adjust it. But as you can see, the hand does fall out. So in a few moments I'm going to go ahead and put the silicone in and then try to hide that gap. Here we are at a different angle. It's more horizontal, and with a slight pull you'll see that both gun barrels pop right out, and then the pieces are just pushed back in and it locks back into place. Probably the hardest thing to do on this was the prosthetics. I figured the mechanics would be relatively hard, but it wasn't that. The piece of wood that I used to make the mechanics out of was a little too wide, so when I put it all together it definitely didn't work out quite as well as I wanted to. I think in the near future that's something I'll have to look at. And definitely the original cast of the hand did not come out as good as I wanted it to. But again, pull, and there we go.